Let's go YouTube. It's your boy, Bowe Sports TV. Back at y'all with another one. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Bowe Sports TV. Back at y'all with another one. So I want to talk about this, man. You know, a lot of people not mentioning this and not bringing this up, man. As far as Anthony Joshua being willing to he's willing to lose a title rather than fight Deontay Wilder, but his fans and everybody rave and cheer on the fact that he's unified champion. He's did it before Deontay Wilder, and that's part of the bargaining chip that allows him to be the A side in the negotiations between himself and Deontay Wilder. But when it comes down to him fighting Deontay Wilder, him actually taking the fight and fighting Deontay Wilder, he would rather lose his titles one way or another. And when I say one way or another, he would rather lose his titles, whether that be him actually stepping in the ring with Alexander Povetkin, or him losing the titles via him having to drop the titles, because see, he backed himself into a corner. And why he backed himself into a corner? By saying that he didn't want to come and fight over in the States, and he had to have the fight in the UK. Which that did was that backed him into the corner. Why did that back him into the corner? Because now, if the situation with Alexander Povetkin is offering him to come to have a fight with him, Alexander Povetkin is mandatory. So Alexander Povetkin saying that if the fight goes to a purse bid, then the fight would take place over in the UK, right? If the fight was, over in Russia, right? If the fight goes to a purse bid, Alexander Povetkin is going to win the purse bid because his manager has more money than Eddie Hearn. So they're going to win that purse bid. So that means the fight will have to take place over in Russia. Now, because of Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua coming out and saying that they prefer to have the fight over in the UK with Deontay Wilder, bar none or no fight, you know what I'm saying? That situation has forced him to not be able to go to Russia. So in return, if it goes to a purse bid, they're going to lose. Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn will lose the purse bid. So that will force them to have to vacate the titles, because if they don't vacate the titles, that means they will be forced to go over to Russia and take the fight. But you stood your ground and you said that you earned the right to have the fight in the UK, bar none, right? Versus Deontay Wilder. So if that's the case with Deontay Wilder, then that has to be the case with Alexander Povetkin. What's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. You can't say that, listen, I'm going to have the fight take place over in UK versus Deontay Wilder because I'm the A side. I earned the right to have this fight over here. And then once you get into a situation with Alexander Povetkin, then you're going to say that you prefer to have the fight over. You don't mind going to Russia because you don't want to lose your titles. See, so it puts them in the bond, because guess what? Now, you know, your bargaining chips was the fact that you was the unified champion, something Deontay Wilder hasn't done, right? So now that's something that Deontay Wilder hasn't done, but you're willing to lose those titles because you opened your mouth and said that you didn't want to come to the UK, to the States to fight Deontay Wilder. So now that puts you in a pickle, because now once Alexander Povetkin wins that purse bid, because he's going to win that purse bid, and Alexander Povetkin and his team prefer that fight goes to a purse bid. They prefer that negotiation go to a purse bid because they know that they're going to win the purse bid and force the fight to be staged in Russia. So if the fight is staged in Russia, they win the purse bid and the fight is staged in Russia, then what is Anthony Joshua to do? Because at the end of the day, he said he don't want to travel and have no fights. He want to have his fights be taken and done. He wants to have his fights on UK soil in front of all his British fans. So now for him to have the fight in UK soil, he can't do that against Alexander Povetkin. See, he's going to have to either come to a negotiation agreement with Alexander Povetkin up front, so that way he can have the fight in the UK, and then don't fight Deontay Wilder until later on this year, right? Or he's going to have to go to a purse bid, and then he will be forced to vacate the titles, because he will look like the biggest ass if he was to go over to the UK. He would never live that down. So you're gonna go over to the UK and fight a guy who's not a champion, who's not offering you 50 million guaranteed up front, who's not offering you a 50-50 split, and who is not a title holder. Deontay Wilder is the WBC title holder who's undefeated and offering you 50 million with a 50-50 split, 50 million guaranteed up front with a 50-50 split to fight over in the States. And he's a WBC champion, so that gives you the option to be undisputed heavyweight champion. So all these perks you would get fighting Deontay Wilder. But if you fight Alexander Povetkin, who has lost already, Deontay Wilder's undefeated. Alexander Povetkin doesn't have a title. Deontay Wilder has the most recognizable title in all of boxing, which is the WBC title. Then you will have to fight him over in Russia when it's more popular to come and fight over in the States. You said that you didn't trust the judges and the referees and everything over in the United States, but you're going to trust them over in Russia, where Alexander Povetkin popped dirty numerous of times. And there's all types of cover-ups. Even the Olympics over in Russia is under investigation, even if they even have Olympics anymore, right? So we know that they're corrupt and crooked over there. Okay, so then Deontay Wilder and his team is offering you 50 million guaranteed up front. So you're gonna have a fight with Alexander Povetkin where you're gonna max out probably at the very most, $25 million. Then you're not gonna get a 50-50 split. So you was offering a 50 million guaranteed up front with a 50-50 split to come over to the States and the chance to become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Now you're gonna go over to Russia. You don't have a chance to become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. All you would be doing was staying level, keeping the title that you already had. Should you beat Alexander Povetkin, you won't be making 50 million guaranteed. You won't get a 50-50 split, and you still have to travel. You still won't be fighting in front of your British fans. So that's going to force him to have to vacate that title. So in vacating that title, this all comes down to the fact that you didn't want to fight Deontay Wilder in the States, or anywhere for that matter, because Deontay Wilder said he'll fight you in the UK for a 60-40 split, him receiving 40%. So should that be the case, you've done all of this to avoid fighting Deontay Wilder. You would be willing to not gain $50 million guaranteed up front, which would, if he fights in the States, what you talking about him getting upwards of $75 to $80 million in one night, right? So you'll be turning that down and the chance to become undisputed. So you're willing to turn all of that down and lose your titles just to avoid fighting Deontay Wilder. And the fans, they co-sign this. They agree. They're in agreement with this. This is okay with everybody. For this man not to receive $75 to $80 million in one night and have a chance to become undisputed heavyweight champion. They'd rather this fight goes to a purse bid, him having to fight over in Russia, instead of coming to the United States and having a fight. They prefer him going over to Russia, lose the titles. What do you stand to gain fighting Alexander Povetkin at this point in time over fighting Deontay Wilder? It's all fair. It's all fair at this point. It's a fair losing to Deontay Wilder. See, he knows that he fights Deontay Wilder, it's a chance that goes all down the drain. Because once you lose to Deontay Wilder, it's kind of like, in a certain sense, like fighting Floyd Mayweather. Where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? You know what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder will be the highest. He will have to regather himself and get a chance to fight Tyson Fury. If he fights Tyson Fury, it's a big chance he loses to Tyson Fury. And at the end of the day, Tyson Fury's undefeated. Tyson Fury never lost the titles. He never lost, period. He's undefeated. So then what do you stand to gain? Then you will have to climb a mountain all over again. That's the fear that they have. The fear that they have is not wanting to face Deontay Wilder and not losing everything that they have. They built Anthony Joshua is created at this point, man. And this is the part. This is the thing, man. It makes it difficult to cheer for this dude when these guys make up all these excuses in the world not to fight Deontay Wilder. They make every excuse in the world not to have that fight with Deontay Wilder instead of just taking the fight. Whether it be in the UK or in the States, we just want to see the best fight the best. Bottom line. That's the bottom line. So one excuse was that you wanted 50 million with the split, and you would sign tomorrow. You didn't do that. We're going on 5 weeks. Okay. Then you wanted you didn't want to allow Deontay Wilder to get in the ring. Cool. He didn't even come to the UK, right? You didn't want to do a press tour. But now you're in the United States doing a press tour. You're going from, see, people over in the UK, they don't understand this, but now you're going from California, you're traveling around, you're doing all these press tours, doing all these interviews here. Granted, it's not fight week. So one thing he did say, he didn't want to have his camp interrupted. Okay, cool, understand that. But all these excuses not to fight Deontay Wilder, and you're willing to lose your titles and vacate your titles, because that's what he's going to have to do at the end of the day, people. He will have to lose the titles because he's not going to win a purse bid against Eddie Hearn's not going to win the purse bid against Alexander Povetkin's team. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So that fight, and that's what Alexander Povetkin and his team want. They want the fight to go to a purse bid, so they will win and then force Anthony Joshua to have to go to Russia to have that fight. That's not going to happen. So at this point in time, man, it's really not looking good, man. You know, they're not willing to offer Deontay Wilder 40% that he deserved, but you was willing to give Joseph Parker 33%. And then this is another thing, right? You're not willing. You said that you're willing to take less money. You're willing to take less money than the 50 million guaranteed, right? But you're not willing to give Deontay Wilder 40%. So why aren't you willing to give him 40%? If you're willing to take less money, it shouldn't matter how much money that you offer him. It shouldn't matter that he receives 40%, because you're willing to take less money not to come to the States. So what difference does it make? Give him 60-40 and let the fight be over. Then you have the advantage over in the UK. You get everything you want. This dude is offered everything he wants and makes up every excuse in the world. And this is the problem, because the boxing fans and the people want to see the best fight the best. They don't want to hear all these contradictions, all these excuses, and making up nonsense just to avoid the best fighting the best. So that's all I got, man. That was my thoughts on that this morning, man. You know, Anthony Joshua is willing to lose his titles rather than Anthony Joshua is willing to lose his titles than to face Deontay Wilder. That's all I got for y'all, man. It's your boy Blue, Bluebird Sports TV. Y'all already know what it is. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Bluebird Sports TV. It's your boy Blue. That's all I got for y'all, man. Anthony Joshua willing to lose his titles rather than face Deontay Wilder. That's all I got for y'all. It's your man Blue. Peace.